Woohoo! Welcome everybody. Welcome. We are so excited to have you here with us.
Are we on?
We're on, right? You guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Thumbs up? Yeah, okay, awesome.
Perfect.
We're on, it's live. Glad to have you. People will be trickling in, coming in, and be sure to use, like, we want a lot of participation. We want to have, you guys, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna joke around, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna play, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna get serious. I promise sometimes I'll share stories that make you cry, and hopefully I can share some that make you laugh. And so we're just gonna have a fun time. And we're gonna do giveaways, you guys, every time you come in here.
So make sure if you have a question, you share a question with us, because we're gonna do a giveaway for someone who asks us a great question. Okay, so be thinking about your great question.
Now they're not going to listen because they're thinking of a great question. I love it. And there's a chat feature. So those of you who have not used Zoom before, you just kind of scroll down to the bottom and you see a little chat bubble. You can click on that and it throws out a chat feature. So, you know, while one of us is speaking, the other one will be chit-chatting in there, and you can ask questions or make comments or whatever. We want to have full engagement in that. So, whoa, man, super excited. Glad to have you here. We are in Mexico, and as we do these, you guys, we're going to be traveling around the globe. That's our MO. We're not going to like stop traveling to make videos. So I promise you, we will also have some weird experiences and weird noises. Like right before this started, man, car alarms started going off, and this guy starts cutting stuff. We're like, what is going on?
Yeah, we were outside, and we were going to record out there. It was nice, a beautiful day. And then all this noise starts happening, and then the internet like cuts out there and won't work. So now here we are in this. We just quickly ran inside and found this room inside. So this is where we are now.
So we just roll with it. Love it. And man, Fiona, so glad you got kids with us. We'll have kids climbing in too. I'm sure that's a guarantee. How fun. Okay. So Eve and little Rowan. Awesome. Okay, just using Fiona's room. Gotcha. So Eve, gotcha. Awesome. Thanks. And I do that all the time. I'll have meetings in here all the time, and people, whatever name shows up, and I'm like, hey, person. So don't hold it against me. Let's go with it. Okay. So Rachel's going to start with a story today.
Yes. Okay. So
there
I was. And we have 7 children. If you guys know anything about us, you know we have 7 children, and we've traveled with them to 35 countries. And when I was pregnant with my 7th, we were in Germany.
And England.
And yeah. I think she might have been conceived in Italy. But anyways, we were in Germany, and this has happened to me a little bit with each pregnancy, but I would say that this last pregnancy was particularly bad.
I would second that.
Yes. And I pretty much had 0, like 00, like no drive at all, nothing, except to like watch Netflix for 18 hours a day. And this was very unusual for me because I am a very driven person. I like to be working on projects. I like to be, I homeschool my kids. I like to be involved in all that. And I literally had like no drive to do anything. I didn't even want to read a book. I got out of bed like whenever, and
if ever.
Like
I'll be honest, man. It was brutally hard. She literally spent probably the majority of the first 3 months of her pregnancy in bed.
Yeah, and I don't get sick, like vomiting sick, but I get nauseous sick. So I'm nauseous most of the time, and I don't like that. Like that's like my least favorite thing in the world, to be nauseous. And so that definitely deadens my drive, and there was like no drive at all. And
so this is our life, guys. We're like, yeah, everything is awesome. And then Rachel's pregnant, and like, we're just barely hanging on.
Because it drives me crazy.
Oh man, it's bad. And you guys, I have a secret hatred for Netflix, and she's like binge watching, and I'm just like,
and then of course all the kids are like,
we love this, Mom. Can we watch movies with you? So like the entire family's binging.
So he would be doing his thing, like living his little life now. It's like his life. And we would all be sitting and watching Netflix like for hours a day. And it was driving him crazy.
But how did you feel? Like emotionally, like life, how did you feel?
Life sucked. Okay. It literally sucked. Like, I didn't want to get up. I wanted to eat, but I didn't want to cook for myself. I didn't want to do anything or go anywhere or read any books or do anything but zone out. Like, really, I was watching Netflix all the time because that was an escape. I was feeling nauseated or sick. I was feeling demotivated. And it was an escape. It was a way of like dealing with it without having to deal with it.
So I got to jump in here. How many of you have been in a spot like that? Where you've gotten into, you're just like.
You don't have to raise your hand.
Yeah, you don't. You're like me
you can ask
right
yourself.
Here. Right? Where we get in the zone where, and I've done this too, where you get in the zone, you're looking for escapes. You're looking for something to assuage the pain. Some people turn to addiction. Some people turn to buffers. Like if I want to avoid work, I play with the kids. If I'm struggling with the kids, I just like, well, I got to do some work. And we turn to these other things just to try to
manage.
Yeah, you're trying to escape. You're escaping, right? And so we get in the zone where we're just existing. And it feels rotten.
And I realized that, I mean, there's been fluctuations of motivation throughout my life. But I realized that for a lot of people, that was more normal than not. And being able to experience it helped me to kind of analyze it. And then analyze, like, how is it that we, in our normal life, non-pregnant life,
insert whatever you want for pregnant, right? But that dead time.
How do you generate motivation? And that's what we're talking about today. If you saw or not, you know, the School of Awesome Sauce is about being awesome, but there's a lot of facets that go into being awesome. And today we're talking about motivation specifically, like how do you get motivation and stay motivated on a daily
first,
basis.
can I tell a hilarious story first? You guys, I gotta tell a story. So we're living in England. Rachel's out for the count, right? She's just down. And I'm like, hey, I got this. I'm gonna be super dad, right, in this new place. And for like 10 days, we didn't have a vehicle because we were getting our Defender registered, right? So no vehicle. We're in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, trying to learn how to drive on the left-hand side of the road. I'm running a business. I'm working, taking care of all the kids, trying to take care of Rachel as she just lays there saying, now I want ice cream. Now I want something else. And I'm going like crazy. And one day I'm like running to get something. And we lived in this beautiful old cottage. And from the master, you drop down 3 steps into the rest of the house. And there was this big drop down in the ceiling in this nice corner. It's a super old cottage. It was amazing. It was right. So one day I'm like, try and take care of Rachel, try and take care of kids. I gotta work. I'm going right now. And I'm running and I'm like, I got this, feeling like super dad. And I just leap off of those stairs, right? And I catch the corner of that ceiling right here, just lays me out. Booyah! I mean, crazy, like full on clothesline, blood everywhere. And I'm just laying on the floor like, oh, my head. And the kids are running and screaming like, what happened? I'm just like, and I went into teaching class like that. It's just like, idiot.
But I think that sometimes that's what life's like. Like we go to some event, we just did the Family Adventure Summit last week. It was super awesome, super motivating, inspiring. Something like that happens and we get pumped up and we get excited. We're like, yes, this is awesome. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and this and this. And I've got all these goals. And then we're running around and life like
clotheslines you.
And we're like bleeding. And we're like, I can't do this. Never mind, And that's kind of how life is. And so the question that we want to talk about today is like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with getting taken out by life sometimes because it does that to you? And how do you get back up and get remotivated and keep going and keep that motivation on a daily basis? So that is what we are doing.
That's where we're going in today, and it's going to be awesome. And we're going to try to hit this from a bunch of different angles, guys. So a lot of times we think, oh, just give me the one thing. if you give me the one thing, then everything's good from here on out, smooth sailing. It's not. It's so many things that are interrelated. So we're going to try to come at this from as many angles we can, and hopefully some of those are just going to click for you. You're like, that's it. That's the piece that I needed this week.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go for that.
So just to add to that, motivation itself and staying motivated includes lots of things. We're going to cover a couple in depth today, but this will be an ongoing topic that we'll touch on
again and again and again,
because it's an ongoing thing. Now, to start out, everyone needs to know, like, it doesn't come naturally. Okay, this guy is not naturally motivating and motivated. Now, I'll clarify that he has developed the habit of that now, but he did not start out that way.
So people on our website, you guys, I think one of the best compliments I've ever received is people are like, Greg, you are a walking antidepressant. I'm like, yes, that one's awesome. I'll go with that.
But he didn't start that way. He started out as this
like really grumpy, depressed,
angry, shy,
like super angry. You
timid.
Guys, I was one of those kids that had a temper like nobody's business. And people were like, oh, it's because you're redheaded. Right? And I was like, oh yeah, it must be my hair, right? And I'll go with that. And you guys, and my life was super hard because I ended up out on my own. And so I'm blaming all these people. I'm holding grudges. I'm angry. My life was just pretty rotten. And so I was not enthusiastic. I was not optimistic. I was not a happy-go-lucky, energized guy, right? I was not motivated. I was existing. Like, I just felt like, you guys ever had those dreams where you're like trying to run in sand or you're in waist deep water and you have to run away from something? You're just like, whoa. That's where that was my life. And I was just existing. And, you know, you guys, maybe you've experienced this, or maybe it was just me. So you're like, poor guy. But I remember getting up and just being so discouraged about getting up. And just thinking, what do I have to look forward to? Another long, long walk to my high school in the dark, in the cold, in a bad neighborhood, hoping I don't like come across somebody or something. Because like I was so nervous and scared, like if a black cat ran out, like I'd almost wet myself. It was so bad. It was a bad neighborhood. And so you guys, I really was there. And so I'd get up and I'd be like, this sucks. And I don't want to live like this. And occasionally I'd come across genuinely happy people. And I would literally be like, how do they do that? They're so lucky. But I wanted it. And I guess maybe that's the first principle I'll share today. You got to want it. You got to want something. And I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, no, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if. I'm talking like, you got to want it. And when we stir something, in fact, everyone throw that in chat box if you can. If you can chat right now. If you're driving, don't. You can throw something in the chat box. What's something you really, really want? It can be anything. What's something you're like, that, I want that. I want that so bad. I wanted that kind of happiness, you guys. Man, I wanted to be excited. I wanted to feel alive. I was so tired of going through my days like blah. And so, yeah, financial freedom. I love that, right? And that drive, you're like, I want freedom. I want freedom. Me too. I feel that a lot. Sometimes I go around and I just scream freedom like William Wallace, like Mel Gibson, freedom. I go, oh, I want it. But yes, that's a big one, right? And you guys, I wanted, if you felt that before, you're like, I want to wake up every day and feel absolutely fantastic.
Well, and if you think about the times when you felt motivated, that's usually a driving force. You're at some event, you're listening to somebody, you're whatever, reading something, and a desire is sparked within you, and that creates motivation. Because now you've become aware of something different or something more or something better. And we believe, I mean, this is like our base life philosophy. Like, we believe that desire is the key to life fulfillment and purpose. Like, discovering your life's purpose, living on purpose, starts by tuning into your desires and listening to those and following those. So when you get motivated about something, when you get pumped up about something, don't ignore it. That there is truly a key. You need to pay attention to that, because pursuing that, and that's the irony, this is kind of a side note, bonus material here, is that the irony is that achieving it doesn't bring you the happiness and fulfillment, but pursuing it does. It's pursuing goals that fulfill us, not actually achieving them. Once we achieve them, like the only way to feel fulfillment again is to have another goal that you're pursuing.
One you're going after.
But it's the pursuing of something that brings the fulfillment into our life. It's what gives our lives meaning.
Dude, fist bump.
Oh yeah.
Babe, that was good. We love it. We love pursuing things, right? So let's see. Eve said family unity.
Yeah.
Right? We wake up and you're like, I want my family tight. Now, I know about you guys, because I came from a broken home, right? Broken marriages, broken family, siblings. My brother, when I was, I can't remember how old I was. You'll notice my nose is crooked now that I'm saying this. He's 6 years older than me. He just hit me so hard when I was a little kid, broke my nose. My nose has been crooked, like caved in. I mean, we did not have family unity. I'll just say that. But you guys are on it too.
Yes, united with you. No.
Yeah, that was the only unity happening in our family, was brawls. But I wanted it so bad. And so I'm like, I'm going to be a pattern interrupter here. I'm changing things. And literally, you guys, Rach and I, we don't even have, like, our oldest isn't even old enough to, like, start dating seriously. And we talk about great grandkids, okay? We want a family legacy. And we want that unity. And we're literally have plans on our vision board and on our goals and dreams to build out ways to have that unity. We want it. And man, that lights a fire, right? So Tam's saying, honestly, I don't know right now. We're finally really living the past few months, like feeling kind of off, a bit directionless. Yes, Kate, fantastic. Thank you for being honest and open about that. I hope you guys will always feel this is a safe place to be totally open. And I have been there, and I'm sure others can relate. Like, sometimes you get in this funk and you're just like, or maybe it's your kids or your spouse gets in this funk and you're like, how do we snap out of this? How do we snap? How do I get, yeah. And I love that you use the word directionless or off. That's a great way to describe it. You're like, now what? What do we need to pursue? So should we hit some of these things?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Numero uno. You guys, I came up with...
unless uno is the desire.
Okay, all right. I'm going to give you lots of numero unos. Just, if you ever lose count it's my ADD, my adventure deficit disorder. It's adult ADD. I have to have more adventures. I'll give you lots of tidbits here, but I came up with an acronym for today that's hilarious, because you're going to remember it because it's opposite. It's N.A.P. N.A.P, right? We have this acronym for motivation. The way to be motivated is to nap. And hey, let's be honest. Sometimes, you guys, you're with me, a good nap help the motivation. Yeah. So some of you need that, right? Early afternoon, you're like, okay, just give me 30 minutes here and I'm good. But so we're going to go off the acronym. The N stands for nourishment. Okay. We absolutely, positively just must nourish our motivation.
So we made this little Facebook video a couple days ago, and we were trying to be funny. We started out the video like this, like with our face. That didn't last very long. We cracked a smile too, but we were like, "Oh yeah, we ate last week. Like, we don't have to eat today, right? We ate last week. That's good enough." And we're trying to make fun kind of that idea that, well, no, nobody does that. Like, everybody eats every day because you need food.
Body needs to fuel and energy.
You have to eat every day or you're really feeling this like slump. So motivation is just like that. You can't get motivated last week and then think, oh, well, that's enough for the rest of the year, or, whatever. Yesterday's motivation is not sufficient for today's demand. You need to get motivated every day.
Or somebody one time said, yesterday's meal is insufficient for today's needs, right? Every single day we've got to be fueling our motivation. And we know that with our bodies. In fact, we know that with our cell phones. How long can your phone go without a recharge, right? We just know with all these things. We know it with a garden. You can't just leave the garden itself. We have to be constantly doing it. But for some reason, guys, motivation, we don't do anything about it. And then we're like, guys, why am I so unmotivated? Like, what are you doing to motivate yourself? Well, nothing. I went to a seminar months ago. People literally tell me this. I went to a seminar a few months ago. I'm good. Like, what? Like, that's not enough. We got to fuel this stuff. We got to stay on top of it. So we have to get constant nourishment. Now, I have a bunch of ideas, but first I want to do this, okay? And when you guys do this for me, just throw it in the chat box if you can. What are the things that really motivate you? Okay, what are the things that really motivate you? Just think of some ideas when you just feel, man, it lights me up. What are those things? And it can be anything, with full range or open range. Like, what is it that just gets you excited? Hey, let them throw it in there.
I was sharing mine.
Oh, okay. Throw some big ones in there. What does it motivate you? So,
Okay.
big goals.
Big goals. Yes.
Ooh. Can I give you guys a bonus right now? A little bonus material here, not intended. You know, people talk about SMART goals. So they're the acronym SMART. They're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay, SMART goals. I came up with an acronym called D.U.M.B goals, because sometimes you got to have some big dumb goals that really motivate you. D is demanding. U is unrealistic. M is meaningful, and B is bold. You got to come up with some dumb goals sometime. And I love to teach people. Whenever people, and I get you guys, I get emails all the time. I get messages like, help, I'm totally motivated, lost. I don't know. I'm just dragging through life. I don't feel any drive. What should I do? And I always tell them, set a big goal. Like something big and scary and intimidating and exciting. Like it's so exciting, it keeps you up at night, gets you out of bed early, right? Set some big, dumb goals, because that works. So I love that you're saying that. Another one, doing something scary.
Challenging.
Yeah, how many of you like that? Like that lights me up. I don't know why people are like, oh, I'm afraid. I'm like, scary? Yes, bring it. Like it motivates me so much. The more intimidated I am by it, the more it drives me. But I think Rachel's the opposite. Like if it's intimidating, she's like,
Oh my God.
no, get me out of here.
I do like challenges. I like challenging myself, but I kind of like to do that privately. Not in front of a bunch of people.
So no chasing big goals in front of people.
Yeah.
In front of people. Okay, Tam also said service. Man, that's a beautiful one. That is a beautiful one. Get a story
And
for that?
making a difference. Well, no, but I was just thinking that if you guys know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid, we can send you a copy if you're not familiar with it. But he has all these different levels of our needs. And the bottom is like the basic needs, like food, water, I think sex is on there, like the basics. Then
the basics. That's a great basic.
Then the next is
personal protection, personal security.
Yeah, personal security. You have to remind me because I only remember the top one.
Where are we going?
Yeah,
Oh, then love and okay, love and belonging.
Love and belonging, and then the top of the pyramid, the highest form of fulfillment and meaning that we can find in our lives is self-actualization, which is this idea of serving, giving back, and making a difference. Yep. So I think that is definitely something that motivates us because it is like the peak of the pyramid. And once we have, I think a lot, obviously a lot of us have a lot of our basic needs met. We probably have at least pieces, if not complete parts of the other levels of the pyramid. But then the next step is this self-actualization. It's making a difference. It's doing, like having this mission and purpose with your life that's doing something, leaving a legacy.
Yes, and we begin asking ourselves, did I do something? Am I doing something that matters? Am I making a difference? And I know all of us are motivated by that. And I'm confident that every single one of us, when we get to the end of our life and look back, we're going to say, did I make a difference? Did I do something that really mattered? Okay, woof, I love that stuff. I love it because it fires me up. So that's another big one. Rachel mentioned music. Maybe it's a great song that you have. How many of you have a song? Out of curiosity, just this song that just lights you up. We do in our family, Movies, okay? I'm not a real movie buff, but there's a few movies that like they just hit home for me. Or stories like Les Miserables, my all-time favorite book, and the movie and the musical, so touching, so powerful. What else? Dancing.
Well, yeah, dancing. So these are all good ideas. And so the key is with nourishing, because again, we're talking about N.A.P. The first one, nourishing your motivation, is that you are intentionally including things in your day that are motivating you. So it can be any of these things that you're talking about. It can be thinking about your big goals, having a vision board and looking at it, listening to music, challenging yourself some way. And then one
going out for French pastries. Yeah, that's wait till I do that like 4 times a week. Like, kids, we'll be right back. We got to do a work thing.
Now you made me lose my train of thought. Think about French pastries now. But the technique that we want to give you today, and I'm gonna take all these and they're gonna be on a worksheet, and I'm gonna be emailing you this worksheet. So
and
take
we want
notes,
we want some accountability too.
I'm gonna send this to you too. So
the idea is to sprinkle in these techniques throughout your day. It makes the biggest difference ever, because just like you're getting a few meals a day or snacks, you're actually just nourishing throughout the day. You're nourishing your motivation. You're hitting doses. So you start at first thing in the morning. Okay.
Yeah. So what we want to give you today is technique is your morning and evening routines. Now, this can be huge. Like, this is huge. It's so big that like we do this every day, like no matter what.
Like in the last 20, I started this 22 years ago. I started my morning rituals. Okay. And I can, it's probably been about 22 times in 22 years that I've not done them. Okay. That's how big of a deal this is. It is huge, and it makes the biggest difference in life.
So in order to stay motivated, well, and not just stay motivated, but start out the day motivated, we have these morning routines. And so we get up in the morning, and first of all, we get up early, okay? That's the first thing. If you can, especially if you have kids. Now, there's times and seasons. I know I have 7 kids. There's times when I did not get up early, and that was okay because I was up all night or whatever.
I have little people.
Right. So there's times and seasons, but if you can, getting up before your kids at least a little bit makes a big difference, because it gives you a minute or more to like be yourself and to like set your intention for the day and give yourself some time to get some motivation. So we get up early.
Hold on, let me share some science here. I know some of you will probably geek out like I do. I love the scientific stuff and the studies and the research they've done. They just say pick a time and get up every day at the same time. That really adjusts all your sleeping habits. It'll help you get to bed earlier, and it'll help you sleep better at night. It literally sets your body. So whatever that time is, if you're getting up at 7 right now, try 6:30 and just set an alarm every day for 6:30. And even on your tired days and you're like, man, I don't feel like getting up, do it anyways. Because you guys, if you hit your snooze button, you're already breaking your commitments for the day. And you're just like, you're just starting that. So get up, get going, and just set a time. Now, if you're a little crazy hardcore, maybe you just kind of bump it up to 5:30. There was a long period of time, years, where I was up around 4 or 4:30 because I needed to get my morning stuff in. And it transformed my life. So set a specific time and commit to that.
Okay, perfect. Get up early. Then we do what's called getting our input. Input is the word that we use for putting in positive stuff into our mind. And so we like to read motivating books or watch something inspirational, especially if you have a specific big goal you're working on. Like, watch something in that field, whether it's your marriage or your financial goals or health and fitness. Like, find something to watch or to read every day in that area, and that's going to give you that little dose of motivation to pursue that thing.
Yes, this gets me, I get so fired up. Sorry. Okay, so you want financial freedom. Every day, what if every day you just get a little nugget of something, some reminder, some little insight, some little inspiration about financial freedom? Every day, boom, put your mind in, put your intentions on it, makes you focus. Okay, family unity. You get up every day and you watch a clip out of the marriage course or the parenting course, or you grab a book and you read a couple pages every day. Like every day you just are fueling the thing you want to work on, right? It's amazing, right? It makes such a huge difference. And I do the same thing. When there's a big goal I'm working on, I'm going after it, okay? I get up and I watch or read something in that thing. And it lights me up, and it sets up my mind and my heart, my emotions, my energy, my direction to do something that day that moves the needle in my favor.
I just want to add a little stuff here. Fiona talked about a list. Oh yeah, that's Eve. Sorry. What's her code name? Outside time, music, finishing a task. I love that. Books, clean space. Yes. Walk and talk with a friend and a cup of tea. I actually have a cup of tea every morning, and a lot of times
you just shared Rachel's list, man.
I know. Yeah, because I love that. It's like kind of this little bit of self-care to get up and get my little cup of tea, or to go to bed with my little cup of tea. And, yeah.
She usually doesn't drink it, so I get to finish it off. But it's the idea of having it. I love it. Tam's like, maybe not still up at 3:30 a.m. watching a Zoom meeting for a good schedule. Yeah.
Is it 3:30 a.m. right now? Is that what she's saying?
Oh man.
If so, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yep. And guys, yeah, thanks. If you're on the other side of the world, kudos to you. But I've done that too.
Time for these will change depending on where we are.
Oh, you're in Thailand. Dude, you win. Oh my goodness. Okay, first giveaway today. Yeah. First giveaway goes to that. You totally win that. That is awesome.
Yes, I think Tam wins. And we will give you, Greg has a program, How to Totally Transform Your Life Before Breakfast. It is all about morning routines. So
I just walked through step by step the morning routines I've followed for years and years and years and how to do it. So boom, okay, make a note of that. That is awesome. Woo! I love that. Okay, so get good input, okay? And you guys can do that today. So don't try to figure it out in the morning. If you get up tomorrow morning and you're all groggy and you're like, what should I do? It's not gonna work. So you decide tonight, and you can buy a stack of books. So Rachel and I, literally since we were married, we would buy books, and if there was money left over, we would buy groceries or pay the bills. I mean, we were dead serious about input, and that has literally made the difference in our lives. So buy a stack of books, buy them used. I always buy used books. I get on Amazon or Abe books, ABE books, or Better World, but whatever. I mean, you just find these inexpensive.
Worldwide for free.
Anywhere in the world. So you can just you get a hold of cheap, inexpensive books, guys, and just start reading. I went through a little book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen because I totally want to transform the way I think. I thought very negatively. I held on to. I was very insecure about myself, and I was very pessimistic about life. And my thinking patterns and my belief system, I believed I would always be poor. I believed that things would never work out for me. That's just my luck, right? I believed that kind of stuff. And I believed that I would just kind of go through life and it wouldn't be awesome like all those lucky people that get to travel the world. I believe that stuff. But when I wanted to change my life, I changed my thinking. So I literally every single day for almost 2 years, I would read just 1 or 2 pages from his book again and again and again until it became my way of thinking. Totally transformed me, right? So if you want, and I have a stack, and Rachel has a stack. Even in our RV trailer, we're traveling wherever we are. Even we have in Mexico, we brought a stack of books, okay? We always have a stack of books we're working from every morning.
Okay, so the N in N.A.P is nourish. And one major way to nourish is by doing the morning routines. And we just gave you a few ideas, so implement those.
Sweet. And there's way more to that too. I mean,
there's way more.
Audiobooks.
We'll continue talking about it.
When you guys are driving, when you're running, when you're exercising, when you're washing the dishes, do audiobooks or podcasts or whatever. Just fuel that stuff.
But now we're going to do A.
Okay, sorry. I get so excited. We could spend weeks on just
like that.
Sorry, guys.
We'll come back to it.
Sometimes you have to remind me to be like, Greg, the A.
Okay, the A. Go.
Okay, so the A is, what is the A?
You made it.
I don't know. It's ambition. Okay, it's ambition. And so we touched on it lightly. It's really digging deep and wanting something. So let me tell a story. This is true story. Okay, true story. Back in the day in the Ukraine, there were these massive packs of wolves. Okay, and they just roamed the countryside, and they got to this point where they were not afraid of anything but fire. They would attack huge caravans of travelers. I mean, these things were crazy, okay, huge packs of wolves. So travelers realized the only, and so they would get together and realize we got to make big bonfires. And so they would build raging bonfires and sleep around them at night while they're traveling across the Ukraine. And they realized that those bonfires they weren't a luxury. They weren't a convenience. It was an absolute necessity for survival. If the fire went out, you were in real danger. Okay, true story. So ambition is like that fire. We got to keep it lit up. We got to have something that excites us, something inside that just stirs us, that just moves us, that you just feel so excited to get going and get on something. And it almost doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter what it is. Hopefully you want it to be something good, right? Choose something good. And do this with your kids. You'll notice this with your kids. Sometimes do your kids ever do this, you guys, where your kids just kind of check out and they're just kind of moping along, right? Our kids do it too. And I'm like, hey, they need some kind of ambition. They need something that fires them up, something that gets them excited. I remember I was camping with our family one day, and we got up the next morning, went to sleep. There was a raging fire, we went to sleep. It was so nice. My son fell asleep. We woke up in the morning, and he comes out. He's 6 years old, and he walks out, and he's like, Dad, why'd the fire go out? And I was like, yes, teaching moment. I'm like, well, buddy, when we don't feed it, it just dies out. And it's the same with ambition, and that's what ambition is. You gotta feed it, right? You gotta find something that you get excited about and just lights you up, okay? Now, a few of you have shared things already, but we've gotta have something that stirs you.
And so I would say for ambition, one of the best ways to fuel ambition is with a vision board. And I don't know if you have a vision board or not, and we've had people tell us, oh, that's just kind of so cheesy. And oh, I'm hard to do a vision board, you know?
That's a little silly.
But they work, and they keep this ambition like burning. And so what you need to do is, first of all, think of whatever this is that excites you, this idea, these things that you mentioned, or these big goals that you have ideas of. Get a picture, get some words or a combination that represent that best to you, and put it up where you're going to see it every day. And here we are, we're in Mexico. We've been in Mexico for almost 5 weeks. We have our vision boards up.
We travel with them.
We travel with our vision boards, and we put them up, and we look at them every day, morning and night sometimes.
I make it a point to go and stand in front of it and look at it and feel it and get excited.
Okay, that's the other key. Like if you read anything about quantum physics, it's crazy stuff, but there is some real power when you combine the desire with the feeling. So not just looking at it and being like, oh, that's cool, but like feeling it, like getting excited about it, like envisioning what it's like to achieve it. Okay, there's power in that. It literally, if you look at the quantum physics, it's crazy. It is literally sending out this energy in the universe, because everything's either energy or matter, and it's creating what you want.
Hold on, let me bring this back so it doesn't sound weird. Have you ever felt your thoughts create an energy? Have you ever had a negative thought that just goes, ooh, it just deflates the room? Have you felt that before? I think we have, right? Have you ever felt a super crazy, exciting thought that just lights you up? And there's this energy and people can feel it. Yeah, 100%, right? It affects us. So sometimes we get like, that's weird stuff. But it just has an energy. And the more you feel good about it, like I get giddy and I get excited. And then you guys, I'm telling you, this happened to us so many times. Things start to fall into place for us. Doors start to open we did not know existed. And we look at each other and we're like, we couldn't have planned that. I couldn't have dreamt that. And here it is happening. So get your ambition fired up. Get something excited, right? And want it. And I know, you guys, this is a group of awesome people. You are awesome people. You're go-getters. You're excited. You're intentional. You're here. Okay? Less than 2% of people like show up to make improvements in their lives. You're here. You're part of the 2% club. Hug for everybody. In person, you'd all be getting bear hugs. Light that up, okay? Get excited about it. I'm going to give you a bonus material. You ready? This is like super bonus. This is like what I give my top coaching clients. You ready? Pick a big goal. Pick a big goal and write it, literally rewrite it every single morning. Okay? Now, I'm telling you, that's like, it's less than 30 seconds. Less than 30 seconds. Okay, my friend, he works with like the most elite athletes and military personnel in the world, okay? And he's the psychologist for them, okay? Think about this. He's the psychologist for like Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. You with me? Okay? He said, I tell my guys to do this. You write down your goal every single morning. Only one of two things can happen. One, you either stop writing down your goal, or two, you achieve it. Done. Right? It's powerful. It's so powerful. And so you do that. So every morning, rewrite that thing. All right. Eve showed this visual impact. Weird fact. I noticed that after 10 years of marriage and kids, all the cheap artwork we had on the walls had become our life. Whoa.
Wow, that's cool.
That's
Sunflower poster in the garden. The gospel ballet pictures turned into major involvement in dance.
It's company, Irish tapestry gift, sumo, local Celtic club, string music, photo.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And second 10 years still true. That is amazing.
Cool. So the pictures on her wall became they're like,
yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh man, and that's true for us with our vision board. We would constantly put up pictures, you guys, of epic things we want to do around the world. And years ago, I was going to tell you.
Oh yeah, so there was this time, in fact, I shared this story on our Facebook page. There was a time in life when I was super discouraged, and I really, literally, I was like, all this big dream stuff, like it's crap. Like, I don't believe it. And that's how I literally felt at the time. And through this series of events, I started to believe again, and I started to have hope again. I started to dream again, and eventually got back to the point where we had done vision boards before, but we weren't doing them because I was like, whatever. We'd had some failures, and I wasn't
setting goals is a bunch of crap.
That's how I felt. And I would go into more detail with those stories, but we only have 10 minutes left, so I can't. But we started dreaming again, and we put all these, and we literally just gathered any picture, anything that we were like, yeah, that excites me. Oh yeah, I like that. From any source, magazines and whatever. And we put them all up on the wall. And it was interesting because literally like just a couple weeks ago, I happen to have some video footage of our wall. And I was looking through it, and I was amazed at how many of the things on that wall had come true. Even like going to Budapest, it was on there. This picture of this woman sitting on, this picture of this woman sitting on a camel in the desert, and she looked like super powerful and like confident. And it was 6 years later, but that happened. I went to the Sahara Desert and rode a camel, and in fact had a 6-week-old baby and nursed that baby on a camel in Morocco. And I was like, yeah, yes. I was that confident lady there.
It happened.
It happened though. It came true. But it wasn't like at the time, it was kind of like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? That'd be kind of cool, you know, to ride a camel in the desert. But it happened just because I put that intention out there.
Love it. That's so such a cool story. It works.
Okay, we got to do our P.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting there. So Tam said, I decided to do a vision board, procrastinated, finally put up 4 of the 9 picks. A month later, we made the choice to sell everything and travel full time. Booyah! Wow. That decision involved every one of those 4 things to the max. I'm telling you guys, we're not the only crazy ones out here. Yeah, you guys are our people. So if you don't have a vision board, get one up. If your kids don't have a vision board, get one up. My children have a vision board, okay? And do a family vision board. Get exciting stuff up there. It'll start to happen. Okay, P. Are you ready? I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. I'm going to give you a little bit more science. There's 3 aspects of motivation, okay? One is internal. It's the biological stuff. Like we need to eat, we need to sleep, we need to be with people. Like it's the biological stuff. And those are good motivations. Like you wake up, like my children wake up and they're like, first words out of their mouth since they could speak, what's for eat? What's for eat? I need food. I mean, these kids will eat food, right? So that drives it. The second motivation is external. So internal is biological stuff. External motivation are like rewards and punishments, okay? And those can be helpful. You know, you set a reward for yourself. Like, hey, if I hit this goal, we're gonna go on an overnighter as a couple, or we're gonna get something. I get to buy a new bicycle, or whatever it is, whatever you think. I get a new outfit.
Or the opposite side, where you're like, I'm gonna do this, or else I have to give him $500.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one because that baby's a motivator.
Well, it depends. Each of us have this either moving towards something or moving away from something motivation. That works for you. That would not work for me. I'm more like, I want the reward rather than the punishment.
But the punishment would drive her because she would be so afraid of it.
True.
So we did this, you guys. We had a mastermind group. This was years ago, and we were in the spot where things were tight. And we said, okay, if we don't keep our goals, we pay $200 into this pot. And I remember just feeling sick. Like, we can't lose that. We have to hit our goals. Whoa, right? Talk about motivation. It just works like a champ. It's awesome. So those are external. But then here, we're getting to the P now. The best motivation is called intrinsic motivation. Okay, so there's internal, there's external, and then there's intrinsic. And intrinsic is what I like to say comes from the soul, from the spirit, from right in your heart here, where you're like, I want something. So the P for today is purpose. So it's N.A.P. It's nourishment, ambition, and purpose. Purpose is the best motivator. It lights you up and gets things done. And you end up doing things you didn't think you could do because you have purpose. Okay. I remember reading about a woman, she had been smoking for years and years and years, just could not quit smoking. Nothing. I mean, there was nothing. She tried everything. Nothing could get her to stop. And she got pregnant. And as soon as she found out she was pregnant, done. No more smoking. She had purpose, right? Purpose. And it's like that for us in life too. We've got to have a purpose. Now, you guys, this doesn't have to be a big, grandiose thing. If you have purpose for everything you're doing, okay? Let's take working out for an example. If you're going to go on a run on purpose. Don't just run. Like, run on purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's a small shift in your mindset. Like, hey, I'm here to run. I'm going to run. When I go on a date with Rachel, I'm not going to look at my phone and mess around and la da da. Like, I'm with her. We're dating on purpose. Okay? And so I love when I'm mentoring and training people, I like telling them that. Like, when you get out of bed on purpose. Like, I'm getting out into something. When I'm going to meet with my kids, we're doing a morning devotional or something. I'm on purpose. I'm there. I'm all in.
And the power with this is that it can be applied to anything in any part of our life. Like, that's how we can have more meaning and fulfillment in our lives and more motivation. When no matter what we're doing, even if it's like washing the dishes, we're keeping in mind this bigger purpose. Because really, why are we washing the dishes? Well, because we want a clean space, or we need dishes to feed our family, or there's always some bigger purpose behind everything we're doing. And the reasons we get depressed about it or demotivated to do it is because we're focusing on the negative things. Like, well, I don't want to do the dishes because it's annoying, or I would rather do something else, or, you know what I'm saying? And there's different aspects to this, because obviously you can also find ways to outsource that to someone else, or to reward your kids for doing it, or whatever. But if it's something we have to do
it with purpose.
Find the purpose in it and do it with that purpose.
Ooh.
Friend told me to cut corners on life's task, and it actually made life harder because I was never satisfied.
Yes.
Good
insight, Eve. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and we found that you actually find more fulfillment in life when every task you do you do as well as you can. Like last week, this is a small thing. Last week we're doing face painting with the Family Adventure Summit. I was in that. I was in the face painting. Like I was doing it the best job I could. And I ended up having like this big line of people like coming to me. They're like, I noticed you're doing a really great job on the face painting. Like, can I get in line? And I was like, sure, you know? But like, to me, if I'm going to be face painting, like I'm all in. I'm not just going to be like, whatever.
Scribble on your face.
For me, I don't do it. And that's me. But if I can't do it well, I just don't do it at all.
And you guys, you may find some things in your life that aren't purposeful. They kind of maybe snuck into your life. And you look at it and you're like, well, I don't want to do that. And I don't want to do it purposely. In fact, I don't want that to be a part of my life anymore. And if that's the case, if it needs to be done, outsource it. If not, get rid of it. You really can. It's pretty awesome. So what you do on purpose. Okay, so you guys, we're wrapping up here.
Yes.
So nourishment, okay? Nourishment, ambition, purpose. So if you can, I know it looks like some of you are driving, so don't be doing this while you're driving. But if you can, just throw in one thing. What's one thing you want to work on this week and this month to fuel your motivation? Again, we're going to give you
routines,
we're lay out
routines, vision boards.
Just one
totally
thing.
Different.
Just pick one thing. One thing you want to do, just amp up your motivation and to get motivated and stay motivated.
And before we close, we also have to say there's a lot more that goes into motivation. And
from how the quality of food you're eating, to your sleep,
to the chemicals,
to the
you're producing
your body is literally a walking pharmacy, and a lot of us, we could be filled with dopamines and endorphins and all this stuff. I can teach you about science and how to do that, and serotonin, right? But a lot of us are just walking around with cortisol, which is the fear. It's the fear chemical, and cortisol, it comes from stress too. And cortisol makes you age faster. It makes you feel grumpy. It makes it harder for you to love and have peace. Some of us are just filled with cortisol. We just watch the news all the time. We think the world's a horrible place, and all we can see is the dark cloud. And it really. And so we can change it around. We're gonna cover this stuff and go through all these things. But I hope you have questions.
So we're gonna continue on this topic next month, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more too.
Okay. So Amy's doing something with the dishes. Yeah, I love it. Stacey's doing morning routines. Oh yes. And getting a new vision board up, staying on the courses signed up for. Yes, that was fantastic. And Marissa says, when I have a thought to do something, just do it. Not write it down for later. Yes. Okay. Man, if you can take action.
That is good. I'm going to give a little bonus tip right here. That this will probably be something we'll cover at another time. That is a good strategy, unless it detours you from working on your goals. Your one thing.
Ooh.
My rule is if I can do it in 2 minutes or less, I do it right then. If not, I do write it down to plan when I'm going to do it.
Because the only thing you can interrupt other stuff, but the one thing you never want to interrupt is your one thing. And we'll talk about that later. Ooh, anticipation, huh? Excitement for later.
Wake up time commitment. Good.
Okay, we got to wake up for right time. Good, awesome. Okay, you guys, love
you
you.
for being
Thanks
here.
for being here.
Good
This is
job.
the best. If you have friends or you know people who would benefit from this and need some fire and some spark, let's just build this group. Like our dream is to help tens of thousands of families just rock it. Amazing marriages, extraordinary lives together, just all of us living at our very best and hitting our potential as families, okay? We're going to make this happen.
It's a selfish thing because then we want you to meet up with us.
All around the world. So we have friends everywhere and we have epic adventures together. We're riding horses across Mongolia or camels across the Gobi Desert or ostriches, wherever those live.
Chateau in
France. Yeah, oh, I love it. Okay, you guys are awesome. Stay motivated, get motivated, work on some things. We're going to send you a worksheet to work on this month. Okay, and then
any questions you ever have,
shoot us questions and topics.
You can email them. We will answer them in the upcoming
topics you want us to hit on.
School of Awesome Sauce.
And then more awesome sauce. And we'll set up some accountability, guys, so we hold each other accountable, okay? To go after it and like we're doing this thing. We're not going to sit around and chit chat. We're making a difference. We're moving forward. We're really living. And it's exciting. Oh, it's exciting. Okay. Love you guys. You're the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful month. And we'll see you next month.
Okay. Bye-bye.